Well, hello, and as we continue our look ahead to the final of the Con Annie Kirby Memorial, we have our last remaining finalists in terms of the interviews that I'm doing. Damian Matthews, the man behind The Machine, or one of the men behind The Machine. Damian Explosive Boy is named very aptly, and I dare say The Machine is pretty aptly named too, because he is a bit of a machine. He has incredible pace and power. You've always thought a fair bit of this dog. That would be highlighted the fact that you went to Toaster for the Puppy Derby last year in England. Is that fair to say?
Okay, it is, and it is fair to say. Funny thing about The Machine, the name came about, we'd be watching the racing channel and the horses and what have you. And Matt Chapman, he was mad about a horse of Willie Mullins. And every time he'd come, I can't even remember the name of Willie Mullins' horse.
Faheen. He used to call him Faheen the Machine. Yeah, that's right.
They used to say The Machine. They kept saying, "Geez, that's a good name for a dog." So that's how the naming come about. But listen, he was late April. He's actually only 2 the other day. He was showing promise in qualifying trials, and we thought he had plenty of pace. So I took the opportunity to go to Toaster. There wasn't much happening in Ireland at the time, I thought, and with his age and Ian, it stands by you now. That'll be my thinking. It stands by you now. You don't need to rush over for a trial or get him around the track. He's had his 2 or 3 looks at Toaster. So ideally, all going well on Saturday night, he's straight into the English Derby after this. That would be the plan.
Yeah, it sounds like a plan, all right. The Machine, as we said, he's only had the 12 starts, Damien. He's immensely fast. You know, you've won the Kirby twice, of course, already with Boyle Sports Hero, who is a very different type of greyhound. I think he's more equatable to Cable Bay, the same type of greyhound where you're looking for that run into the back straight. And if he does get it, he won't be far away.
Yeah, listen, the style of running similar to Cable Bay, absolutely. The Achilles heel would be from the tops to the starting line first time up. But from the starting line, first time up to the winning line, he's as quick as anything in the country, I think. Joe Sheehan was going on about his splits, like he done a 4:30, 28:16. He's been drowning. I think he was drowning. It works out about 23:86. You know, it's phenomenal going 9 to 9. That's without a shadow of doubt his ability. He's one of these dogs. He's mad for the rails. He wants an inside pitch. You know, he passes dogs and he goes back in on the fence. He's not. Tommy Lyons actually alluded to it. You know, I don't know if his legs are in tune with his head. You know, he goes to things and then he's, Jesus, what are you doing in there? And then he's way back out wide.
In fairness, it sounds like Tommy's footballing career.
Well, it may do. But I would just like to get, for one night only, the Machine's legs in tune with his head so that we can see him, you know, in full flight. You know, listen, it's an exceptional race. You know, the talent that's in the race, I don't know if you could speak enough about it. You know, Explosive Boy in 28:08, 28:10, 28:16, you know, phenomenal runs. Then you have the sing-along Sally of Pat Buckley's, you know, an exceptional talent after winning the juvenile. You know, again, phenomenal bitch. And then you have Skippy in 1, you know, you're talking about legends of the game, Erwin Berkman, Pat Flanagan, great supporters. You know, okay, ideally, I would rather be the other side of Skippy. You know, he is going to step right, but listen, it is what it is. It's a final. We're there. You know, if everybody gets a clear run, none of them you could really rule out. So we'd be hoping for a clear passage, and whatever happens, happens.
It was said the other day, it might have been Tommy again that said it, the worst thing the Machine could do is probably make his best start.
Well, listen, I would forgive him if he made his best start. I don't think his best start would have him alongside Skippy's best start and Explosive Boy's best start.
Yeah, so leaving a perfect pitch then on the inside.
Yes, you know what I mean? I don't, listen, as you know, we have vast experience in this industry, so have a lot of the other people in the final. You know, you can see the race being run one way and it could run 100 different ways. You know, if he comes out his best, I'll be happy enough. You know, what happens after that happens after that. Like, it's a final. If everybody does what everybody's supposed to do, you know, it wouldn't be as interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Damian, from the start, you grasped, your family grasped the importance of the Con Annie Kirby Memorial. I remember speaking to yourself and your brother Plunkett many times about it over the years, especially in the early years when you you got on board. Let's get a Kirby dog. Let's see if we can find a Kirby dog. The results have been there. You've won it twice. It's only 4 handlers have won it, and you've won it twice. It's a fair achievement. But was it due to the links with coursing and Con and Annie Kirby and their history in the sport and Noreen's history in the sport, or was it a case of it's 80 grand? This is a big competition, and we have to support it.
Ian, it'd be wrong to say it was one or the other. It's them all, really. From an industry perspective, it's great to have a focus for young dogs. Like, I came home last Saturday night and we went down a sister of a knock, and they are already being geared towards the Kirby 2023. And that's the way. That's life, really. So to have a focus point, to have an aim for your young up and coming stars. Everybody loves to buy a young dog, nurture it, bring it through its early stages, and hope to have something to Stephen go down the road to support the Con and Kirby. Of course, Noreen and JP's support of the industry per se goes without saying. It's just a credit to them. And it is great to see that everybody has got on board, and the quality of the entry, the number of entries, it has come on from its inauguration in, I think it was 2012, 2013.
2013, yeah.
So it has actually come on, and it's hard to believe, but year on year, I think it's getting harder and harder to win. That's from this side of the fence. We have been fortunate enough to have won it on 2 occasions. You're right; they are 2 different style of dogs, but I can lay your thoughts at ease. We will be working on next year's too, as presently as we speak. So don't get too concerned.
I never doubted it. Of course, you're very much a G.A.A. family. You're Gales, as you call yourselves. You're running for hospital Herbertstown G.A.A. Are you up on the whole social media end of things, or have the boys been showing you, or the girls been showing you? There's lots going on.
Listen. I leave the social media for the younger generation. They're well able to keep up. They put things on social media, don't even say that I say it. So listen, it's great to have Hospital in Herbertstown involved. Declan Murphy has been on to me. They've contacted us from the outset. They knew they had what they regard as a live contender. It's great to have an association with the GAA connection. There has been 2 clubs in the past that we've won it for, and they come back to you and they let you know that they're runners and what have you. So to have that link, because ultimately you find a similar type of individual that supports Gaelic football and goes greyhound racing. So they have the actual link, and they have a club that's going to benefit out of your dog running so well. It's great to have that involvement. Great.
Now, it'd be remiss of me not to touch on a few other things while we're here, Damian. Of course, you're heavily involved. Well, not just heavily involved. You're the main man in the IGOBF, and the Behind the Track series, Damian, over the last few months has been a revelation. It's been great to get our point of view across, and we're going to continue this, I hope.
Well, the intention would be, actually, I'm scheduled to have a meeting next week with all the members. And it's been a difficult time not being able to have meetings in the normal format, but we have continued to have Zoom meetings, and the intention is, and we have already scheduled filming for July for the 2nd series. I think, it's since the RTE Investigates program, it was just one agenda, and it's been one side of the story. And to tell you the God's honest truth, it has been disappointing and very difficult to sit back and listen to just one side of the story for so long. So we stepped up to the plate, and it's a credit to the people in the Federation that actually supported the idea. We've stepped up to the plate, and we started to show what true greyhound people are really like. There's a bad apple in most businesses, most industries. Let it be white collar crime, or let it be whatever angle you're coming at. There's different, and it's up to us as an industry to sort the bad apples out. And I think the industry has come on leaps and bounds in this last 2 years, and to highlight it through the video series was great. To get 500,000 people viewing it over 5 different platforms was outstanding. But I think it's a start, and I think it's important that we as a federation and as an industry move on from this and push on and show the genuine people out there what really greyhound racing is all about.
Yeah, here. Of course, Saturday would have been an ideal time to showcase it, but unfortunately, nobody's going to be on track. Just the odd selected few. Damian, who's going to be walking the dog on Saturday night? Is there big pressure being put on you?
Oh, everything's routine, Ian. Everything's routine. It's another race from the dog's perspective. Adam generally walks the dog out, so Adam will be walking the dog. Yes, it is disappointing that he's the only one that actually sees the race live. We're generally sitting in the van listening to you and Joe Sheehan talking, Ian. And I know it's a hard 3 hours to listen to it, but listen, we've put up with it, and it's great to be able to see it in your own van watching it. So that has been a massive shot in the arm for us. But I think we'll just go down through the normal routine. We'll head down to Limerick as normal. He'll take the dog in, he'll walk it in. Sure, whatever happens, happens.
Of course, your father's involvement in the sport through the years was mainly as a coursing man. You always had track dogs, of course. I'm not saying you didn't, but you've had some very, very fast track dogs, indeed, going back all the way back to the 70s. But in recent years, you really have seemed to produce some real stars, some real pace, power. Is there a slight switch in your allegiances? Not allegiances is the wrong term, but just your focus in terms of trying to get some real good track dogs in your hands?
Listen, it's always an aim to have real good track dogs, particularly this time of year. So it's springtime, and it's great to be able to go to venues with dogs and see them running, particularly something that you've reared and you've bred and what have you. We probably are holding on to more nowadays than we used to hold on to. Every one of them would have been sold, and we're probably trying to keep back a couple for ourselves. It is a probably focus. I probably would have to agree with you. The number of track bitches that we're breeding probably is on the increase. But as well, Brenton's love of both sports, is massive, and he is a great how do I put it, enthusiasm to get up and go every morning, to get out and get the stock sorted out, and to be feeding them morning, noon and night. It's more than a job. It's a way of life, and for him, it's a way of life. So it is a maybe slight change in focus, but not much.
Yeah, there's two things that really that probably stand tall above everything in your house. Is probably dogs and G.A.A. I'd imagine not much else discussed around the dinner table.
No, and with the younger generation come up, it's actually got worse between playing and being involved in it. But listen, in this particular time of year and the pandemic, isn't it great to have focus on something and something to look forward to? And with all things that have happened in this last 15 months, hopefully we'll get out of this pandemic, and we'll look forward to brighter times from the industry's perspective.
Yeah, you can sense a real draw for people to get back to the track. I would imagine that the first big nights in Shelbourne Park, or be it Cork, Limerick, wherever, you'd imagine the crowds will come. People are just sort of, they're drooling at the mouth now, just waiting the idea of getting back to the track.
Absolutely, and the final last weekend of the 600 was a credit to all the handlers and a credit to the industry. That's the sort of racing that would bring crowds back out to the tracks, just to witness it, to be there to witness it. And I think that we do have a product that is definitely very, very accommodating for spectator sport, and we have facilities for the people. So with a bit of luck, with the pandemic and the easing of restrictions, it maybe won't be that long till we get back to meet in person again, and we find out what is exactly happening on the ground instead of through Zoom meetings.
Yeah, you could. I don't know if you've seen Pat Flanagan's interview from yesterday, but you can sense his sort of just undying want to get back to the track. And as he said himself, Saturday night would have been an ideal opportunity, because the 6 connections, there are a lot of ties between those involved. Like you go back a long way with some of those people that you'd be taking on Saturday night.
Listen, sure, Pat stands with us in Shelton this 30 years, Ian, and it's brilliant to see him and Skip and Mary there. And you're right, it would be great if we were there. Even when you go to Explosive Boy, I'm not sure, he's owned by an Australian man, so he wouldn't be standing beside us in Shelburne. Then you have Pat Buckley, you have Emma Buckley, and all the Buckley clan would be standing there. And I think then you have in top 5 Liam Dowling. Just I couldn't go without missing Liam and Shane, or they'd go through me altogether. You know, a great ambassadors of the game. And then top 6 Mark Donovan. You know, he's after having great success with the Waterford Masters on Tuesday night. You know, so you're right. There would be. It's a testament to the sport that we have got 6 owner breeder trainers really that are competing for this prestigious event, the Conan Kirby.
Yeah, indeed. Just getting back to the race itself, Damian, what's the ideal scenario? He comes away reasonably well, just in behind the pack. There's a gap up the inside. He slips through off the second bend and gets there late.
Yeah, and you've been reading the script. You've been reading the script. Listen.
Is it your script, or is it that the widely released script?
All I would say to you is, you know, I would say the dog runs to the best of his ability and he gets a clean run. And if he's able to win, he wins. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. But I would just like to wish everybody in the final all the very best. And as long as they all compete to the best of their ability and they come home safe and sound in, we'll move on to the following week.
Yeah, listen, here, and I agree with you. May all 6 come off safe and sound, and we see them all going on to brilliant things in the future, because that's what the Conan Andy Kirby has been over the years. Apart from the €80,000, it's the most unbelievable stepping stone to future glory. We've seen Derby winners, Oaks winners, whatnot coming out of this competition, and long may it continue. And again, our thanks to JP and Norrie McManus, and to yourself, Damian. Thanks for the support, and hopefully for yourselves, you'll be having a 3rd Kirby win on Saturday night.
You never know, Ian. You never know. It's a brilliant platform, and sure, you don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully the dog will run well and do us proud.
Well done, Damian. Best of luck.
Cheers, Ian. Thanks.